What's one unsolved mystery you'd like to see solved before you die? Are we alone in the universe?
Antimatter. Why is the universe almost entirely matter, when equal amounts of matter and antimatter should have annihilated each other? Where is the missing antimatter? Is there a slight difference between matter and antimatter particles that causes matter to last longer? Are there places in the universe primarily made of antimatter instead of matter, well outside the observable universe?
MH370. I'm sure they'll eventually find the wreckage and have a better idea exactly what happened, but even today they're still finding old World War II ships and even ships older than that. So I hope that it's found before I leave, because I do wonder what happened to that plane. I just hope it's a matter of years or decades, and not centuries.
I just want to know who DB Cooper is. I know it's lame, but I'm curious.
I'd like to know what happened to Andrew, a 14-year-old boy left home in Yorkshire one morning in 2007 dressed in his school uniform, and then withdrew all his money from his bank account. He went back home after his parents had gone to work and changed out of his uniform, then went to the train station and bought a one-way ticket to London, about 2 hours away by train. There is CCTV footage of him leaving King's Cross Station, but that's the last time he was seen. He didn't tell his parents he was planning to go to London, and it's never been established why he went there. I'd love to find out he's actually okay, or even if not for his parents to finally find out what happened to him.
The disappearance of William Tyrell, basically a 3-year-old kid, was kidnapped in his front yard after the foster grandma went inside for a glass of water and she heard screaming from the sister, and when she ran out he was gone. This happens around 2014 and I still remember his face on the news in his Spider-Man costume.
My best friend's little brother disappeared from an army base last July. Good or bad, I'd like to know what happened to Private Richard Halliday.
The Alps murders, as they're known in the UK. An English family on holiday in France are assassinated with an old pistol with accuracy that points towards a professional hit. A cyclist is found murdered in the same lay-by by the same weapon. The assassin thought they had tied up all loose ends until after 8 hours on the scene the French police found their 4-year-old daughter hiding under her dead mother's legs. 9 years later there's still no clue over who or why they were all murdered. GQ did the best article about it.
What are the Mormons keeping in their vault that's surrounded in granite and heavily guarded?
Who the hell killed Jeffrey Epstein, and who were his clients? How we don't know the answer to this, and how no justice has been served, truly boggles my mind. Edit. To clarify, I mean justice served to his clients were a part of the whole scheme. There's clearly some big players involved that have the power to cover up all their tracks. This just goes to show how corrupt the US system is. Edit. First off, thank you the awards. This is my first post that has blown up. Secondly, to those of you saying there is no conspiracy here and that he killed himself, well, maybe so. But we know that he was involved at a sex trafficking ring. We even know several people who were on his flight logs, yet the public hasn't gotten any closure on a thorough investigation into any of these people. Ghislaine Maxwell said she has names of royalty and politicians. Everything I see points to a catacomb of misdirection and corruption.
I would love to see how a black hole works before I die. We know it sucks in all the matter to the singularity, but we don't know where it goes from there. Finding how a black hole works will change the understanding of the universe itself. I hope it happens during my lifetime.
What happened to the Beaumont changed the way parents in my hometown thought about letting their kids out on a weekend forever.
Where did the Nazis stack the entire amber room from St. Petersburg Palace?
Delphi murders. That video is too compelling for Bridge Guy to not be found.
Disappearance of Madeleine McCann.
In 1994 I found a cinema ticket stub for Speed in my jacket pocket. I never saw Speed at the cinema, nor did I lend my jacket to anybody that had. I'd like to know where it came from so I can one day sit through the film without wondering about it.
Isabella Stewart Museum art recovered.
Where Ian Brady buried Keith Bennett. I doubt we'll ever know now unless someone happens to stumble over his remains. But my heart aches when I think of that poor boy's mother being tormented by his killer until the end of her life.
The disappearance of Amy Bradley. We grew up on the same street and played together as kids. The loss was devastating to her family.
Not all of the Egyptian pyramids have been full explored. I'd like to know what's in under those pyramids. Also, what is hidden deep in the Vatican's archives? I'd like to know that too. And while we're here, what about the mystery of the missing packet whenever you send something over the internet?
As someone from Columbus, the disappearance of Brian Schaefer. It kills me that all these years later there still isn't a definitive answer to what happened to him. I really hope the case gets solved in my lifetime.
What is dark matter? Or better put, what about physics do we not understand that is causing the effects we see, that we attribute to dark matter?
I would like John Walsh to be able to find the person who murdered his son, the reason behind Code Atom. Being raised in Florida in the 80s, this story was heard so many times. Now with what John Walsh has been doing my entire lifetime, and currently with Gabby Petito's case, I think he's more than earned it.
The identity of my half-brother's murderer.
I'd like to know who murdered my sister in 1984.
What happened to Isabella, Ariel, Kalua? How does a 6-year-old go missing and after a week of search parties her parents just stop looking because they have to go to work? I'd search day and night until I knew where my babies were.
What happened to the famous Alcatraz escapees?
The disappearance of Sandy Irvine and what's on the camera he was carrying. Sandy Irvine and George Mallory attempted to summit Everest in 1924. Mallory was discovered in 1999, but the body of Irvine is still missing.
What caused the Bronze Age collapse? I know that it is a bit esoteric, but I really want to know for sure. There are a few interesting theories but no definitive answer.
I don't remember what the case was called, nicknamed, but it is a missing 411 case. 3 friends were hiking a mountain. They were tied onto a line together. The 2 at the front noticed that the line got significantly lighter out of nowhere, so they pulled the line expecting to be met with weight of their friend. What they pulled up was a now severed end of rope and no friend in sight. They went back assuming they'd find their friend taking a break or something like that, but he was gone, nowhere to be found. What makes this case really weird is that the particular stretch they were on wasn't particularly steep. It was only slightly inclined and there were no steep falls nearby, yet he was gone as if he was picked up and removed from the mountain. The most they ever found of him was his backpack several miles off the path in a cave, which is weird all on its own because there was no plausible way he could have gotten there from where they were on the trail. I think about it at least once a week. What in the hell could have happened to him? Edit. I should add that yes, it's plausible this story is a hoax. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so I know exactly how strange the woods can seem. It could be a hoax, it could be a murder, it could somehow be true. I'll never know, but that's why I want to know.
What happened to Shelley Miscavige?
As someone from Chicago who loves /r/unresolved mysteries, I would say the Max Headroom broadcast signal, but at this point I don't think we will ever find out who was behind it. It's been over 30 years and we still have no idea who was behind that incredibly bizarre hijack. There was, a while ago, of someone that thought they had figured it out that seemed very possible, but it was updated and they were ruled out as suspects. Here is the infamous those that have never seen it.
How 4 beers equals 80 liters of piss.
The Voynich manuscript.
Where the hell is Jimmy Hoffa?
Whatever happened to my Stone Temple Pilots, purple CD from 1994?
3N+1 getting finally approved.
Who killed JonBenet Ramsey?
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to subscribe to Upvote for the best quality content every day.